So there's computations that have to take place here. You know, instead of setting a XAML property equal to something that goes directly to the resource file to figure out what the language code is and what the language string is, that equals to something needs to now jump to a database or a cache store, some kind of different store, figure out what the culture code is on the machine, and then go to the right part of the data store in order to pull out the localization string. And I want to do this so I can keep it all in the XAML. I don't want to do any procedural code whatsoever. And we're going to accomplish that with a markup extension. Now, there's something else that's interesting about markup extensions that I'll discuss when we get to it. So let's do value converters first, real easy value converters. I got a slide explaining each one, and then I got a slide showing you how to write it. I'm going to be skipping this slide on every section because that's where I'm going to be jumping into the code. I put this slide in here just for your own reference. So converters, as I stated earlier, are there because when properties bind to a source path, you want to sometimes intersect the property because the value that you want in that property is not necessarily the exact data type as what you're binding to. It may need to change. And the best example that I can give you here, once again, is that visibility example. So let's go over to the visibility example. And I'll show you. Who had a chance to install Visual Studio 2012 yet? Pretty cool, huh? There's one feature, I mean, there's tons of new features in 2012, but there's one feature that I think is worth its weight in gold, and that is, and see, I've already loaded all of them, but if I click on a XAML page, did you see what it did there in the background? It said, loading designer, you may continue working while I do so. I mean, that's common sense. It should have done that in like Visual Studio 2005, right? Because we know how long it takes to render some